Hi everybody, my name is Paul Garrard. I'm a consultant for the American Dental Education Association, ADEA, and I also work with explorehealthcareers.org. Thank you very much for joining us for this short presentation on changes in financial aid, what's happened and what to keep an eye out for. One of the changes of great interest to students is that the interest rates have recently gone down on new loans. As of July 1, 2013, the rate on federal Stafford and PLUS loans has dropped. Now, the way I look at these is I call these variable fixed rate loans. And what I mean by that is the rate is set every July 1, and whatever the rate is on your loan that's dispersed on or after July 1 of each year, it will stay at that rate. In other words, it will be fixed until you pay that loan off. But the rate on a new loan, another loan you take out next year on or after July 1 of any subsequent year could change. It could be lower, but it could also be higher. What that means for you is that when you go to school, you could graduate with the same kind of loans, but each of them might have a different interest rate. Now, the new rates on Stafford loans for undergraduates are at 3.86%, and that's a fixed rate on those loans taken out this year. But notice what the cap is. Next year and in subsequent years, the interest rate could be as high as 8.25%. The rate for grad and professional students on unsubsidized Stafford loans is now at 5.41% fixed, but that cap is at 9.5%. And you can see the rate on what are called Grad Plus loans. These are loans that some graduate and professional students take out after they've maxed out their federal Stafford borrowing. And the rate on new Grad Plus loans is 6.41%. And again, that's fixed for loans taken out this year. But the cap there is 10.5%, meaning new Grad Plus loans in subsequent years could be that high. The takeaway from here is that it's good news, bad news. The rates have gone down, and that certainly reduces the cost of borrowing. But the fact that the rates could go up pretty dramatically, that's all the more of a rationale or reason to really watch what you're borrowing and to never borrow more money than you really need. One of the changes to be aware of is that as of the 2010-11 academic year, the federal government is making or originating all Stafford, PLUS, and federal consolidation loans. And what that really means for you is you're not going to be choosing the lender for your loans, but that does mean they will all be in one place. And what this means is when you get out of school, regardless of your degree program and regardless of your discipline that you've chosen, even though you may have multiple loans, they should all be loans taken out directly from the federal government called direct loans, and they should be assigned to one loan servicer. And that obviously negates the need for many borrowers to consolidate their loans together. So if you're concerned that you're going to have high debt or many loans, do what you can to borrow responsibly and keep the debt down, but you should not be overly concerned that your loans are going to be all over the place. They should be relatively easy to manage because in all likelihood, they will be with one loan servicer. Some upcoming changes just to keep on your radar involve reauthorization of what's called the Higher Education Act. This is the legislative act that governs most all the financial aid programs, and it's up for reauthorization every 5 years, including this upcoming year, 2014. We're recording this in November of 2013. So the Higher Ed Act is up for reauthorization this next year. Your financial aid office will keep you abreast of what kind of things might come out in terms of changes from reauthorization, but just keep your radar up on any discussions about changes to repayment plans and changes to forgiveness programs. And we have another short video on forgiveness programs that you can also watch. Anytime you see references to changes, be sure you look for the reference to new borrowers and new loans, because in general, changes are prospective, meaning they impact first-time borrowers or first-time loans, and that's very important for you to remember. So in terms of a quick summary, changes in financial aid and loans are likely to happen while you're in school and possibly in repayment. So keep a heads up about that and lean on your financial aid office for help. They will take care of you, and they'll also be sure to keep you abreast of any changes that could impact your borrowing and your repayment. And I say this very respectfully, but just don't lean on the government for help. Take control of your own financing options and repayment. Don't borrow more than you need. That will help preserve repayment options for you later. And like we said time and again, look at your budget and never ever borrow more money than you actually need.